Yo, what is up YouTube? It is Drew back again with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you how to sound like Justin Bieber in the song Stay by him and the Kid Laroi. So yeah, let's get into it. Now I'm going to leave a free link to this preset in the description, so make sure you guys go check it out if you like what you hear in the video and you want to sound like Justin Bieber. But yeah, first off in the chain, we are going to start with the classic auto-tune. Now Justin Bieber probably doesn't use a lot of auto-tune in his vocals. If anything, they probably just manually tune all of his vocals. But for me, I can't sing as good as Justin Bieber, of course. So we used Auto-Tune Pro and we set this at 10 on the retune speed, and then we used the B flat minor scale, which is the scale of the song Stay. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the auto-tune settings. After that, we're gonna go into the first EQ of the chain. It's a pretty simple EQ, pretty much just taking out all the lows that we don't need, all the sub frequencies which we don't need in our vocal. So to do that, we're gonna start with a high cut at 144 hertz, and that's just like I said, gonna take out all those sub frequencies. Then at 255 hertz, we're gonna take out 2 decibels there, just to get rid of a little bit of that bass in the vocals, as he has a little bit more of a brighter sound to his voice. Then after that, we're going to the 580 hertz range and taking out 1.7 decibels there. We're gonna follow that up at the 1800 hertz range, taking out 3.1 decibels, a little bit of that harshness. And in the 4400 hertz, we also took out 1.3 decibels just to get rid of a little bit more harshness in the vocal. Then we're gonna boost up a little bit of the high end at the 10,000 hertz range. We're gonna use a high shelf filter, which is gonna boost everything from that range and above. At the 10,500 hertz range, we boosted it by 1.7 decibels. Now let me show you what it sounds like before and after that EQ. So this is before the EQ.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
And then this is after.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
So as you can tell, it makes the vocal a little bit brighter, but it also takes out some volume. So what we're gonna do in the next processing, which is a compressor, we're gonna bring in some volume as well as taming the peaks of the vocal. So we're gonna start it with the Fruity compressor, negative 28.5 threshold, 4:1 ratio, 7.7 on the gain, 10.3 millisecond attack and 97 millisecond release. And this is just gonna add a little bit of almost like a distortion characteristic to the vocal, but it's also gonna tame those peaks, like I said, and just keep the vocal a little bit more level. I'll show you what it sounds like without and then with it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
And then this is with it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
So as you can tell, the vocal sounds a little bit more squashed and a little bit more even, and it helps bring down those really loud vocal parts and also bring up those very quiet vocal parts. Then we're gonna do another compressor, a little bit lighter of a compressor, and we're gonna set the threshold on this one to negative 17.3, a 2:1 ratio, 8.9 on the gain, 68.9 on the attack, and 297 on the release with the vintage type. And this is going to be a little bit more of a smoother compressor just to give it that final leveling together, squash it together a little bit more, and also bring in some more volume because we need the vocal to be a little bit louder in this stage. So I'll show you what it sounds like without and then with it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
And then we're going to do it with it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
Then we're going into our final EQ of the chain, which is a little bit heavier lifting and just bringing in some more frequencies into the vocal to start matching it more to the Justin Bieber sound. So with this, we did another high cut, this time at 159 hertz. And then in the low mids around 557 hertz, we took out 4.3 decibels with a tighter Q just because it was a frequency that I didn't like in the vocal. After that, we're going to 813 hertz and we're just going to boost that 1.3 decibels. And it's just going to bring out a little bit more of those mids, and it's just going to make it sound a little bit more up front. Then we're going to go at the 2300 hertz range and we're going to boost this 1.9 decibels. After that, we're going to boost a little bit more presence in the 5800 hertz range and we're going to boost that by 2.7 decibels. Then at the 10,700 hertz range, we wanted a little bit more top end, and so we're going to use another high shelf and boost that by 2.1 decibels. And then we are going to use another high shelf, and this time we're going to take it down 4.3 decibels, and we're going to do this at 18,000 hertz. So we took out 4.3 decibels in that 18,000 hertz range just to make the vocal sound a little less brittle on that top end. After that, we're going into our de-esser, which is my favorite de-esser. I always say this, the T de-esser. It's just super simple to use, and it just cleans up that sibilance in the vocal and just makes it sound a little bit better. So we just did negative 25.1 decibels on that. And that's all I changed with that. Now we are going to go into the effects. So giving the vocal some texture and make it sound good in the mix. We're going to start it with the fruity chorus. This is going to widen out the vocals a little bit and give it that texture that we like. Stock fruity chorus, just dragged it on here. And then I turned the mix down to 27%. And also with the mix down to 27%, it's going to make it so it doesn't impact the regular vocal too much. So let me show you what it sounds like without and then with it. So this is without.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Then we're going to do with it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
So as you can see, it just spreads out the vocals in the ear a little bit. Next up, we're going to go into the Fruity Reverb 2, my favorite reverb in FL Studio. With this reverb, I noticed the reverb didn't instantly shine out. It kind of waited a little bit before it came in. So we're going to replicate that by setting the delay to 312 milliseconds, which is a really long pre-delay, but it honestly sounded pretty good and pretty close to the original reverb. So we're set that at 312 milliseconds, size at 100%, high cut all the way down, and then the low cut at 1100 hertz. The decay is going to be 1.7, so a shorter decay. Separation all the way up. The wet at 73% and the dry at 95%, early reflections at 49%. Also, the one last thing with this reverb is we turn down the mix now to 61% so we don't get the full reverb effect, and it keeps the vocal a little bit more clean. So let me show you what it sounds like with and without it.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
Now we're going to play it with the reverb.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
So it almost sounds like a delay in the background, but it's a reverb that's acting like a delay, so you still have that spacious sound, and it sounds pretty cool. Next up, we're gonna use the Fruity Delay 3 just to add a little bit of movement in between when you're actually singing. So we're gonna start Fruity Delay 3, like I said. Make sure you have the tempo sync on, and we're gonna use 4:1 on the time. Ping pong setting. Feedback level at 41.4%. The cutoff set to 2224 hertz. And we're gonna use the low pass mode for that. Then the wet set to 20.3% and the dry at 100. And then after that, we set the mix down to 53%. So let me play it with and without it. So we're gonna start without.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
And then with.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love.
So as you can hear, it kind of adds a little bit more of that feedback sound in between when you pause, and sounds pretty close to the original. Now that is all for this chain. So let me show you what the vocal sounds with and without the whole chain. So yeah.
When I'm away from you, I miss your touch. You're the reason I believe in love. It's been difficult for me to trust, and I'm afraid that I'ma fuck it up. When I'm away from you, I miss your touch.
Sounds really nice in context with the full song. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so that's it for this vocal chain today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully this helps you sounding like Justin Bieber or making these pop style songs like Stay. With that being said, the link for this preset is going to be in the description, completely free. All I ask for you is to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and also leave a comment who you want to hear next, and we'll try to get it done. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Peace out.